Okay, guys, so we're almost done with this unit on Nazi Germany, and soon going to be moving into the next sort of unit, which is on modern China. Final sort of area we're going to look at is the opposition to Hitler and the Nazi Party. Okay, we know that there has been opposition throughout this time, but we just want to look at the different types of opposition that occurred throughout the Nazis' time in power. Okay, there was quite a bit of, as you know, opposition, but in terms of how that looked like, it looked very, very different. Okay, there were several sort of attempted coups d'état, so to speak. This is where they were, physical attempts to try and eliminate Hitler. These could have been bomb plots. These could have been executions. The intensity of these increased, obviously, as the war kind of went on and people really started to understand as well how he was actually exterminating the Jewish population. All right. But overall, these were very few and far between. There was a lot of sort of underground resistance in terms of open resistance. This is kind of where people were openly trying to sabotage, Nazi factories. There might have been railway lines. It might have been them sort of distributing anti-Nazi leaflets or propaganda. Okay, but it was certainly people trying to actually being active in what they were doing. But it wasn't sort of like a passive resistance. They were actively going out there and trying to cause issues for the Nazi Party. There was then a lot of passive resistance. Okay, this is the likes of the banned political parties, the communist parties. Despite them being banned, they still existed. There was a whole underground movement where these sort of people would meet, would talk. However, they had no power. There was no way they could stand up to the might of the Nazis. So they very much stayed a passive sort of resistance throughout this. And then also there is the quiet, private grumblings. Now remember, any of these could have got you basically the Gestapo knocking on the door, dragged off to a concentration camp, and depending on the severity, would be either executed or hard labor. Okay. What we are going to get you guys to do is you're going to look at some of the groups that existed. Okay. Some of these relate to youth groups. Okay. Remember when everyone was forced to join the Nazi youth? Okay. There was quite a bit of rebellion around that. So there's several different youth groups that you're going to look at, particularly around the Swing Youth, the Edelweiss Pirates, and the White Rose Group. We're going to look in terms about how the church also was an opposition, okay, and a couple key people around the church. We're also then going to look at an idea of those political opponents who we've talked about quite a few times leading up to this, and we know who they are. The communists, the social democrats, pretty much anyone who was against the Nazis. And then we're going to talk about the elites, okay, the industrialists, the rich sort of aristocratic Germans who also were plotted to try and get rid of the Nazi Party. So what you're going to do, you're going to work in groups. I'll give you your groups in a second. In those groups, you are going to look at in terms of what the methods were used that these groups did to oppose Hitler and the Nazis. How effective were they? Okay, and in achieving their aims. Okay, remember their aims are very different. Some of them wanted to kill Hitler. Some of them just wanted to rebel against the Nazi youth. Okay, so you need to put it in the context of their aims. And how did the Nazis deal with these opposition? Okay, your groups are as follows. Okay, so you'll see you're in groups of 3, and each of you are basically going to investigate one of those key oppositions. Now, how this is going to work, there is a sheet up here, Okay, and I'll show you this in a second that give you some background information and some links to help you develop your answers here. Remember, you're looking at the methods. Okay, what methods did they use to oppose? How effective were they? Okay, and how did the Nazis deal with them? All right, so you're going to create a presentation that you are going to then deliver to the class via Google Meet during the next lesson next Tuesday. Okay, now we're going to build this presentation all on this one Google Doc. All right, so if you've got the Swing Youth, okay, you're going to start building your slides in here. All right, if you've got the Edelweiss Pirates, you're going to build your slides in here and so forth, so that I can manage the presentations. Then all that's going to happen is that you are going to do the speaking next lesson next week. Okay, just to give you an idea in terms of what is in the sheet here. If you have a look, bear with me 2 seconds. So for example, this is the White Rose group. I'll just zoom in a bit more so we can see. So you'll see there's some sort of background in terms of who the White Rose group was. Okay, and also I've given you a couple links to help you with a little bit more information in terms of those various groups, okay, to help you. So you don't need to go and find additional information. Everything should be within these sort of slides here, okay? Any concerns you have with this, let me know. If you don't think you can be online for the next lesson, all right, which is next Tuesday, let me know also, so that we can obviously make sure that your partners or your group members can present on your behalf. Otherwise, guys, let me know if you've got any questions.